Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today we're going to be reviewing and trying to figure out what the best sidearms are in Battlefield 1. Now this turned out to be a much more complicated but interesting topic than I initially anticipated. Personally, I'm using my sidearm way more in Battlefield 1 than I did in previous Battlefield games. A lot of that has to do with primary weapons not being quite as powerful as they were in previous games, and sidearms not really taking much of a nerf in comparison, so now sidearms can really go toe-to-toe with a lot of the primary weapons in the game. This makes sidearm selection significantly more important than it has been in previous Battlefield games, but there are a lot to choose from, so I'm going to try and help you pick some of the most effective sidearms based on your playstyle or what class you prefer playing. Now each class actually has 3 exclusive sidearms that nobody else can use, and you might not realize this right away because a lot of the weapon names are kind of hard to pronounce or foreign, so you don't really realize that they're special revolvers or pistols that are only available for one specific class. First, I want to talk about one of the best universal sidearms in the game, and then we'll start talking about the class specific sidearms that might outplay this one. I think the M1911, if you really don't want to go through all the data and analytics of this video, is a solid choice no matter what you're playing. Put the M1911 as your secondary weapon, switch to it as a recon, as a medic, as an assault player, and you'll be doing pretty well. That thing can 3-shot anybody. It's got enough ammo to take down multiple targets, and it's got great hip fire and a fast reload. There's not a lot to complain about this gun, and it's very similar to the M1911 in previous Battlefield games. Its damage drop off at range is pretty severe, but then again, so is every other sidearm in the game. In fact, you can't really use your sidearms as effectively at range as you could in previous Battlefield games. I know a lot of people like the one-shot with the 44 Magnum at good ranges. That's not going to be happening in Battlefield 1 anymore. Alright, now when it comes to class-specific weapons, there's 4 fast-firing pistols that are very easy to use, very consistent, and I would highly recommend trying them out for each class. The Assault has the 1903 Hammerless, the Medic has the M1914, Recon comes with the Hammerless, and Support has the Modello 1915. All of these have almost identical statistics, only varying slightly in their reload speed, and the Hammerless for the Recon has 1 less bullet per magazine. Now these handguns are great for all classes. They do 26 maximum damage, which means it's a 4-shot kill in close range. They fire 449 rounds per minute, making them the fastest firing pistols in the game, so you can basically spam fire at somebody who's really close to you, and they all have reloads of 1.5 seconds or even faster. And even though the Recon's Hammerless has 1 less bullet to fire than the rest of the handguns, it's still a very good choice for the Recon because most of the bolt action rifles in the game will be doing at least 80 damage in close quarters or even more, which means that the 26 damage from this weapon is going to be more than enough to finish them off, provided that you are doing that 80 damage. Sometimes you can get like a leg shot or something like that and it'll do significantly less, but it's still a great sidearm to have for finish off kills, especially as the Recon. It's still very good as the Assault, Medic, and Support class. And even though it can be very challenging to try and get 2 kills with a single magazine on this gun, the extremely fast reload usually lets you get that reload off before you have to engage a secondary target. So it's just a great backup weapon to have in general. If you're familiar with Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4, you could very much think of these guns as like M9 Beretta equivalents or any of the other 9mm handguns. They feel very similar to that in Battlefield 1, and they're fun to use. Now, if you forget the name of any of these 4 handguns in your class selection, just look for the handguns with the fastest rate of fire, and that'll be the one I'm talking about. Now, perhaps you're not crazy about spammy pistols, and you prefer something like a revolver or a pistol that can hit real hard but doesn't necessarily have a lot of ammo. Well, there's some great guns out there for you if you've got the accuracy to back it up. One of my personal favorites is the auto revolver that you can unlock for the Medic class. Not only does it come with some pretty cool skins, but it can 2-shot and it's got a decent rate of fire and a relatively fast reload considering that it's a revolver. Some of the revolvers in this game have painfully slow reloads, but this one actually ejects all the shells and inserts all 6 new shells at the same time, as opposed to 1 at a time like some of the other revolvers. Now, it does 53 max damage in extreme close quarters, which means you can 2-shot body shot somebody down. However, if you aim for the head and you get a headshot in close quarters, you will not kill them in 1 shot. The headshot multiplier is now 1.8, which means this is going to be doing a little bit over 95 damage to someone. So unless they have about 5 damage done to them already, you're not going to get a one-shot headshot kill. I think this is kind of disappointing because I know there's a lot of people from previous Battlefield games that enjoyed the one-shot headshot mechanics with some of the powerful revolvers in close quarters. I certainly didn't think it was overpowered, and it required a lot of skill to pull off, and if you didn't hit that headshot, then you're probably going to die. This is certainly going to be a letdown to some people out there who absolutely love their revolver or deagle gameplay from previous Battlefield games. That being said, these still do an incredible amount of damage and actually have the fastest time to kill out of a lot of the weapons in the game. So basically, the auto revolver is great. If you can put 2 shots to the body, you're pretty much golden. Now, the assault class also comes with a really fun pistol called the Howdy Pistol, and this one does 53 max damage again. In fact, it has pretty much an identical drop off to the auto revolver. The downside is that it's only got 4 shots. The upside is that it fires even faster, so you can blow through those 4 rounds insanely fast, dropping at least 1 target almost instantly. Now, if you land your first 2 shots to kill somebody in CQB, you then have 2 more shots to try and finish off a secondary target. I haven't done it a lot, but every now and then I will get 2 kills without needing to reload with this gun. It's certainly not a versatile pistol, but it's one of the fastest killing pistols in the game, provided that your target has no damage done to them already. If your target already has like 70% damage or 90% damage done to them, then pretty much any other pistol is going to kill just as fast as this one. But if you're looking to take somebody down from 100 to 0, this is definitely a good pistol to have. Now, those are the 2 fast-firing, heavy-hitting pistols for the assault class and the medic class. When it comes to support and recon, they also have similar style pistols. However, the reload on them is absolutely horrible. The support gets the Bulldog Revolver, and the recon gets the Modello 1889. Now, if you just need to kill 1 target and you switch to your sidearm and fire away and get the kill, then you're fine, and you have no follow-up targets coming up to try and kill you. You don't really have to worry about anything. The problem with these 2 revolvers is that you have to reload 1 bullet at a time, and it takes 4 freaking ever, making these completely non-versatile. They're good at killing 1 target, but beyond that, if you need to reload or engage more opponents, you better rely on your melee weapon, because this sidearm is not going to be ready to shoot for quite some time. Now, if you absolutely have to have a fast reloading revolver style weapon, say you're one of those MLG Pro Recons that's got to hit all their shots with their bolt action and then followed it up with a cool cowboy revolver, well, there is the number 3 revolver, which is a universal revolver. It's got a much slower rate of fire, makes up for it a little bit with having slightly better aiming down sight accuracy, but other than that, it's kind of inferior to things like the auto revolver. And even though I highly recommend the really fast firing pistols as the sidearm for the recon class, if you are up close and personal and you get a leg shot on somebody with a bolt action rifle, it'll probably only do about 60 damage to them, which means you're going to need a very powerful secondary weapon to finish them off in a single shot. Otherwise, you're going to have to hit them a couple times with your sidearm to take them out, and that might just be too long. You might not survive. So it can make sense to run a revolver if you're that kind of player and you have the accuracy to back it up. Now, the handguns that I've recommended so far are very good for close quarter combat, but they don't have the best damage drop off, so you're probably not going to want to use them to hit anybody at medium range. In fact, most of the sidearms you're not going to want to use for that anyway. There are, however, a whole bunch of sidearms in the game that have better damage drop offs than the one I've mentioned. The C93 is a universal handgun which has better damage drop off than some of the faster firing lightweight handguns like the Hammerless. However, it doesn't shoot quite as fast, so you have to make the trade-off a lot of the time between high damage per second or better damage at range. Personally, I don't try and spec any of my sidearms to be good at range. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because whenever I switch to my sidearm, it's usually because I need to reload my primary and somebody's pushing me in close quarters and I need something that can do as much damage as fast as possible. Those are the guns that I've recommended here. If you're somebody who really likes medium range sidearms that can deal with people at further ranges a bit more effectively, there are some guns out there, but I really don't think they're that good, and you won't be as effective with them as you were in previous Battlefield games. I know it can be a little tricky to remember some of the weapon names I've gone over here, so I'll list them all again in the video description if you want to reference them once more. As always, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.